serving up a warm dish of the Triads culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 138 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of January the 13th through the 19th, 2020. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name's Ray Morgan.
And we're opening the recipe box that still sounds like that.
For now.
We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studios in the lab at Industry Hill. So a lot of people have been asking about this, and it was in the newspaper, but I didn't really read through the newspaper about it. But I drive by Mr. Barbecue a lot.
Right.
And I noticed last week, and forgot to mention it, that they are dismantling the building.
Oh.
So I don't know how much of it they're going to remove. I know the roof is being removed. And I know that when the fire came through, it basically burnt up their grandfather claws, being able to be the wood fire cooking that they do.
Yeah, I remember that being the true downside of the burn.
Yeah, so they're going to explore the option of putting a drive-through in there, and anything new and shiny, of course. As I've said in the past, that is a lot of charm that they're going to lose in there. I don't know how I feel about the drive-through, but I'm willing to see it through and see what happens. I'll keep you all informed whenever I know anything. As far as I can tell, though, they don't want to change the menu, and they hope to keep as much as possible the way it was before this happened. So we'll see what happens, but that's the last that I know on it.
So basically, they're going to go ahead and make some upgrades.
Yeah, why not?
Since they can't keep what they had, they might as well go ahead and get some other work done at the same time.
Absolutely, and that is a primo space.
Oh.
Yeah, so they'd be dumb to get rid of it. So just go ahead and do what you do on it. Just
given the size of that location, just the footprint of the property. Yeah, they'd make a pretty penny just for the land.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad to see they're rebuilding.
The Fratelli Steakhouse has just reinstalled the original Staley Bull, or Winston the Bull. No Bull. Or Winston the Bull, depending on how you ask, in their parking lot. The owners, Sam, Johnny, and Pete, I'm not going to try to butcher their Greek surnames, said that it was time they brought him back home. It has a long history since being purchased from a trade show back in the 50s. Most recently, it was in front of Thriftway Meats and Produce on Walltown Street. The owners have declined to say how much they purchased it for, and really, who cares how much it was? I saw it a few times before it disappeared the last time, and I've heard stories and mention of it for a long, long time, so I'm glad it found its way back home. Moo, I say.
Moo. It's funny to me that they've got a fence around it.
Yeah,
like it's going to go somewhere.
Well, here's the thing. One of the biggest hazing rituals for Wake Forest fraternities was to steal that bull. So to keep that from happening, because it will, they have to build a fence around it. Yeah,
that thing is huge.
It is. It's 13 feet high, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you're right. That'd be a pretty big deal if you could pull that off. You could heist it, but then who's paying for it to put it back?
I'm pretty sure Wake Forest does. I think that there's no harm or foul meant or intended for that. I think it was just hey, let's see if we can do it. And then once you do it, here it is back.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with this kind of bull? It's not like you can hide it in the basement.
Yeah. Let's cover it with a couple of tree branches.
Yeah, this has always been on our front lawn. It's just a modest piece.
Yeah. It was an Instagrow. We poured some water and Instagrow on it, and it just became this. Woo. Yeah, so welcome back, Winston or Staley or whatever it's called, the Bull. Welcome back. I don't have this written down, so I'm going to kind of just freestyle it for a second. Daniel Butner and I went to the Spruce Street. That's it. Spruce Street Garden and Tavern that I talked about last week.
Yeah, how was it?
And we found out that the chef has already been replaced. I won't get into all that, but there was reasons why. But the food that we had was not necessarily as good as it was the first time. Now we both only had burgers, and I ordered mine medium heat, medium well. I believe his was right. Mine was medium well or well. There was no pink in it whatsoever. Patty was a little thinner. Flavor wasn't quite as good. I had the mac and cheese again. He had steak fries that were slightly seasoned, and I mean those were good. The mac was good, but it just wasn't the same. But it could be a new chef just getting his legs.
Right.
So I don't know exactly what's going on with it. So I will just say that I wasn't as impressed the second time as I was the first time. I hope they get that straightened out, because I would like to see it be like it was the first time again. And
hopefully it'll get better.
Yeah. Let's hope so, because I think it's got a good chance of being a really good place being there. We didn't talk about this last week either. Over the holidays, we found out that the former automotive place there right beside Camel City Barbecue Factory that has been there since the 40s or 30s or whenever,
Long time.
got purchased again. It was purchased a while back, but got purchased again by Simon Burgess's Mayfair Street Partners, I think is what they're called. And their plans is to have an entertainment complex with like duck pin bowling, which why? Why not just regular bowling? I mean, why duck pin? What's the difference? And a few restaurants that could be, if you read the article right, could be about food court-ish. Not necessarily like what it was with the Sentinel Commons when we had Nick and all them come in for that. They're actually wanting it to be kind of like Italy, I think, if you've ever been to an Italy before. But we'll see how that goes. But either one of them, I don't know any more than that without going in and just dissecting Michael Hastings' article. But I have been in contact with Simon, Simon Burgess, and we're going to have a meeting because he wants me to do some emceeing for him. So
nice. It'd be good to have him come on if he'd be willing to talk about it.
Oh yeah, I want to talk to him about coming and doing that. So, and
that Camel City has proven that end of the street is still viable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, they've done really well, but yeah, right next door has always just kind of been, ugh.
Yeah.
So I'm tickled to see that they're going to do something with it.
Yeah, that'll be good. Lavender and Honey, I didn't talk about this. I'm catching up on some stuff that we didn't talk about when we came back. I don't have anything in front of me, so again, I'm winging this. But Lavender and Honey is moving into some building here in downtown, I believe, and going to bring their baked goods here. And I've had Naomi. I know Naomi. She's a food blogger as well, and her daughter. They make good stuff. I've tried it, and it's really good. I'm not exactly sure where that's going, but I will find that out. And I have talked to them about coming on. Excuse me.
And bless you.
I have talked to them about coming on as well. So I don't know where that came from.
I know where it came out of.
Oh yeah, and now I know where it's at. It's on the wall here. I'm kidding. It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's on your legs. It's not on the wall.
I thought it was on the wall, but it's not. So
I'm curious to see At what point do we reach bakery saturation downtown?
I think we are at that point, just like breweries. I think we're at that point. Let's. Why? Again, I used to be of the, well, no, look at Asheville. It's half the size of us, and it can fit in 27 breweries. But those aren't downtown Asheville, all of them. And Asheville's a destination. Winston-Salem is not.
Right.
So if they can turn that around, maybe we can use more breweries. But I hope we have reached all that we can reach. The saturation point, as you say, about breweries, and I believe bakeries is the same way. Because I know the one on Trade Street is now open. Old King or King's Old Fashioned or whatever it's called.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. How many more
You've already
coffee
got
shops?
Camino.
How many more coffee shops can we fill in here? How many?
Right.
Something different would be great. That's why I kind of hope that whatever they do with the automotive building is, or Twin City Auto, I think is what it used to be called.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope something different can come through here.
It sounds like that's the plan.
Oh, yeah. So planning and execution are two different things, and we found in this town. So I'm hoping that whatever they plan, they can pull off, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, I'd love to see an entertainment style venue there.
Yes, something that's more than food. And me, as a food person, I love when new restaurants are here. But we also need something besides restaurants here to bring people down here. So while you're here, you can go eat. Even if it's not in that location, it's good to have some stuff in the same location. But hey, I'm right here. I'm going to walk across the street to Camel City Barbecue, or I'm going to walk down the street to Crafted, or I'm going to walk across 7th to Finnegan's or Mary's or whatever. Just bring something to draw some people down here, because, as I've said before, there's no new drinkers. But there's a lot of new drinking places. So that's hurting everybody. That's food and otherwise. So,
well, maybe it's time to start expanding beyond downtown. The downtown really is doing a great job, I think, of filling in all the cracks and crevices with some great options.
Yeah.
But at what point does it begin to push out into other parts of town?
Yeah, it's used to be nobody wanted to be no one wanted to be downtown, and they wanted to put everything outside. Now we have everything downtown, and now we need to move a little bit outside. We are, like Zesto. That's a, for me, I'm biased, I guess, but to me, that's a good destination to go to. That's not downtown, but it's downtown adjacent.
Exactly.
From my studio,
it's just right there.
Yeah, from my studio, which technically isn't downtown, but it's the same as downtown. I can get to Zesto's in 3.5, 4 minutes.
Yeah,
and that's perfect.
It takes you longer to get from the studio to right on 4th Street.
Yeah.
Than it does to get to Zesto's.
Oh yeah, it's harder for me to move around downtown than it is to just go to Zesto's.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping that places become more of that. Oh, it was easier for me just to go to Hot Dog City than it was to try to work. Which, now, I'm not saying I hope that the downtown suffers at all, because I don't think they're in danger of suffering in that way. I just want to see a little expansion. Well, people we have a whole bunch of stuff down Haynes Mall Boulevard, but who wants to go down Haynes Mall Boulevard? I don't. So you have some spaces on Stratford. Move some stuff on Stratford. I'm sure Daniel would love some neighbors. That would be an option for him.
Right.
There's
that part of Stratford there near Thruway. It could do with some renovation. We could do with freshening up, bringing some new thoughts in. I love what Algernon's doing with Zesto's. I mean, he's you point out you're biased, but you're biased because he has a quality product at a really good price, and he's very consistent with it, and he's constantly coming up with something new. So his creative juices haven't stopped flowing, and you love to go to that kind of place as a consumer.
Oh, and this is a completely random and not. It's an unsolicited recommendation for Zesto, as most of them are. But this week until the end of the month, I think they're doing their peanut butter jelly and bacon burger.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm heading over when we finish this up. Oh yes I am. Yeah, and I don't know for sure because he's teased this a little bit, but there was mention of another Zestos that's coming. Not necessarily here in Winston either. Could be in High Point. It could be Lexington. It could be several places. It was, he says number 2 on the way, but I don't know what that means until he actually tells me what that means. So.
Right. And he likes a little bit of showmanship.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He appreciates that. And I like the fact that he went to a part of town where other folks weren't investing. He said, I see a community here that is underserved, and I'm going to, one, bring jobs to this community, and I'm going to bring money to this community and some attention. And I'd love to see some other businesses following his lead.
Absolutely. That would be a good place for him.
Yeah.
Speaking of Daniel Butner, as we were earlier, Carrabba's will be having their January wine dinners that he talked about last week, tomorrow the 14th and next Tuesday the 21st. I'll talk more about that right now, but mushroom bruschetta Carrabba, Panay, California, wood-grilled sirloin with gorgonzola sauce, and chocolate budino. That's all I have to say, I think.
That really says a lot right there.
Yeah. Just go to carrabbas.com/wine dinner to find out more about making reservations and get the full menu, or go back and listen to last week's episode.
I'm actually salivating just listening to you read off the dishes.
Yeah, I mean, that wood grilled sirloin with gorgonzola sauce is I gotta get to eat here.
The steaks on his grill come off so good.
Oh, yes.
There's something about a seasoned grill.
And it is well seasoned, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, food holidays. Today is the 13th of January. I think we had this discussion last year. Most of this stuff now is stuff that we've already talked about, but we have new listeners who might not have heard this. It's National Peach Melba Day.
Peach Melba.
Yeah.
Of all the Melbas, we're going to focus in on the peach.
Yes.
I didn't even know there was a peach Melba.
It's a dessert of peaches and raspberry sauce with vanilla ice cream.
So that's not Melba toast.
No. No, it's named...
That's where my mind went, was Melba toast.
It's named after, most things that are Melba is named after the Australian soprano Nellie Melba.
Huh.
She was very influential to Auguste Escoffier, who was famous French chef. He was in the Savoy Hotel, London, is when he created this to honor the soprano Nellie Melba. So he had a thing for her specifically because there's a couple of things Melba that he made that was all about her.
Wow.
It's also...
I will show you my love through my food.
Yes. I feel sorry for those who have to do it this way. I just don't understand it, and I'm so glad that I don't deal with it. But it's also National Gluten-Free Day. And whatever you're giving up, you can give to me. I'll take the gluten.
Yeah. I've got some friends that are dealing with that.
Yeah, well, I do too. And it just kills me to think that I'd have to give up half the stuff that I eat.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's hashtag first world problems here. But, I thought when I was younger I was going to have food allergies. And it turns out that I don't. I'm allergic to everything else, but not food, luckily. So, good for me.
Yeah, especially given your choice of career.
Yeah, that helps. Today, the 13th, in 1949, to protect its dairy industry, Prince Edward Island, Canada, bans the sale or manufacture of margarine, which
Should
be, banned anyway. In 2002, on the 13th, President George W. Bush fainted after choking on a pretzel while watching a football game on the TV in the White House. Fool me once, shame on. The 14th is National Hot Pastrami Sandwich Day. I can get behind that.
Needs cold beer.
Yeah.
If only today were, the National Beer Day, that would go well.
Let's see. In 1814, on the 14th, the last London Frost Fair on the frozen Thames River happened. Entertainment and a large selection of food vendors on ice. I don't know that I would trust in London, of all places. If it was in Minnesota or Canada, which I know London is actually on the same parallel as all that. It's actually above it. But it's something that's not quite cold enough for London for me to be on the river with a bunch of other people.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah, nah. In 1929, on the 14th, mail delivery by dog sled arrived in Montreal, Canada. The 6 dog sled left Lewiston, Maine on December the 20th, 1928. So that's 3 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah.
And we expect overnight delivery.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks. Yeah, they didn't have overnight delivery by dog sled at that time.
Wow. Think of what that took. I mean, that poor guy and that sled and his 6 dogs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of camping.
Yeah, a lot. Because you had to carry not only the mail, but stuff to build a tent, build a fire, food. Yeah, that's
food for the dogs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, you got to feed them 6 dogs. That's a lot of food.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's a series on National Geographic called Life Below Zero.
Yeah.
And it's all people who are living close to the Arctic Circle or somewhere, either above or below it. It's all up in Alaska. And watching the winters that they go through. Now, in those scenarios, yeah, I would cross those rivers because they're like 6 feet thick of ice.
Oh yeah. Then again, at the same time, move!
One of the guys we were watching has done the Iditarod multiple times.
Oh.
Fascinating to watch. Did you lose me?
No, you're here.
Okay. Just fascinating to watch, if nothing else, the beautiful scenery that he's traveling through by dog sled.
Yeah.
But the extreme conditions that they're in as well. I mean, it's amazing. 1,000 miles across the wilderness.
Yeah, if I was living there would be a lot of incentive for me to get the heck out of Dodge, I think.
Yeah.
Why? Why stay there? It's my home. We'll find a home somewhere else.
Actually, in each of these instances, people have made a conscious decision that this is where they're going to live. And in most cases, because they prefer what they call extreme solitude. Yeah, that's just about as extreme as you get. I mean, there's nobody else within you in 500 square miles or more.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if something happens, you're still on your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I just think that's ridiculous. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. On the 15th, it is National Strawberry Ice Cream Day.
Yes.
Is that your second favorite behind chocolate?
I don't know if it's my second favorite, but I really like good strawberry ice cream or even just a good vanilla with lots of actual strawberries on it.
Okay, that works. It's also National Bagel Day. And I'm a fan of bagels. I don't know if
I'm
it's
a
my
fan of
favorite
bagels.
thing, but I like it.
What's your favorite bagel?
I don't know. I like a regular plain bagel, but put a lot of like the not sour, but cream cheese and chives
Yeah.
stuff on it. Yeah, I'm okay with that. But then again, I've not had one from New York, so apparently I've never really had a bagel from people telling me that. So we'll see. If I go to New York this year, we'll see.
We'll have to report back on the bagels.
Yes.
And the Italian sausage. Now, I can tell you there's a huge difference on the Italian sausage.
Okay.
Stuff you get in New York, it's good. It's really good.
In 1895, on the 15th, Lever Brothers registered the Lifebuoy trademark soap. And we are just now a couple of weeks past Christmas. So if you're one of those who are glutton for punishment like I am and will just leave the marathon of Christmas Story up, you know that's what he was getting his mouth washed out with whenever he said fudge. That wasn't fudge.
I had forgotten that was the soap that was used.
Oh yeah, he talks about he become a connoisseur of soaps over the years. The Palm Olive was good, blah blah. He said, but Lifebuoy, no. There was more to it than that. But he went in. Gene Shepard, that's his name, was quite the storyteller. He was really good. In 1915, on the 15th, John Van Warmer was granted a patent for his Pure Pack, which was a paper bottle to be used for holding milk. It would be 10 years before a machine was perfected to actually make the containers, but he got started. He said, "It's mine. I want this," and they said yes.
And now it's ubiquitous.
In 1919, on the 15th, the Great Molasses Flood happened. A 50-foot high storage tank in Boston burst and sent a tidal wave of over 2 million gallons of molasses traveling at over 30 miles per hour. Houses, buildings, and parts of the elevated rail system were crushed in its path. 21 people died and over 150 were injured. It took over 6 months to clean up the mess. The damage was in the millions of dollars. My thing is, I find it hard to believe that molasses was going over 30 miles per hour.
I was going to say, that's a land speed record for molasses.
Yeah, the fastest molasses ever. That's hard to say. The fastest
at
molasses.
30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If that had been water, that would have been like 150 miles an hour.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, ask the people that, well, no, you can't because they're gone, but the people who were involved in the pond incident here in Winston on 8th Street and Trade. Yeah. That was...
I don't know about the pond incident.
That was probably one of the darkest days in Winston's history. I'm not going to get into the full story, but there was a huge water tanker on the hilltop there at 8th Street and Trade, where Ramcat and all that stuff is.
Right.
Well, it burst and sent millions of gallons of water down that hill on Trade Street down towards Northwest Boulevard. And there was many people died, and there was it washed people's homes away. There was a rumor that there was a couple that kind of rode the mattress down the thing, but I don't know if that really happened. But there is an actual one of those blue historic signs at the corner of Northwest Boulevard and Trade Street that they call it the pond.
Wow.
Because that's what happened. The water pooled up there at the bottom of the hill. So, yeah.
I had not heard that.
Yeah. I used to be a tour guide for a ghost tour here in town. That wasn't a ghost story so much as just a devastating incident that happened in that area. So
A dramatic story to retell.
oh yeah. On the 15th in 1967, the first Super Bowl was played. The Green Bay Packers of the National Football League beat the Kansas City Chiefs of the American Football League 35-10. It was really just known as the AFL NFL World Championship game because the first Super Bowl actually didn't happen until Super Bowl III in 1969, and they retroactively called the first two, since they were the exact same thing, Super Bowl I and II. Now, we have an opportunity this year to see the Chiefs and Packers in the Super Bowl again. And then wouldn't that be something for the 100th year of the league to reenact the first Super Bowl? Hopefully with different outcome this time.
Depending on your perspective.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping the Chiefs win it all. In 1986, on the 15th, Pop Secret microwave popcorn was introduced by General Mills. Thought it was longer than that, but Pop Secret microwave is different than Jiffy Pop on the stove. That was, I think, in the 60s. So. In 1990, on the 15th, Campbell's Soup produces its 20 billionth can of tomato soup. And
I wonder what the number is today.
I don't know. I wonder if we can look that up. On the 15th in 2013, the Food Safety Authority of Ireland announced that horse DNA had been found in frozen beef hamburgers sold in several Irish and British stores. Pig DNA was also present in some samples of beef products, the beginning of a major horse meat adulteration scandal that would involve many other companies and products: beef lasagna, beef bolognese sauce, beef meatballs, etc. Started there. The scandal soon spread to at least 13 other European countries. Supposed beef products were found to contain up to 29% up to 100% horse meat. Now, I'd be upset about that. I don't have a problem with horse meat. I mean, what's the difference between eating a horse and a cow, right? But the thing is if I thought I was eating beef,
yeah,
that's different. Also, I mean, McDonald's and Burger King and all of them has been serving who knows what to people for all these years. So what's the difference? But calling it beef and it not being beef, then whatever. I mean, we should be used to it by now.
Yeah.
Deception is the rule. And on the 16th, it's National Fig Newton Day. I'm a fan of Fig Newtons.
I've always liked Fig Newtons.
Daniel would not like this. It is International Hot and Spicy Food Day. He does not eat fried foods, and he does not eat anything spicy. So, no.
To answer your earlier question,
yeah,
or our earlier comment,
yeah.
In 1900, Campbell sold about 500,000 cans of soup a year. By the early 1920s, sales were at about 18 million cans per week.
Wow.
They are currently selling more than 100 million cans of pork and beans every year.
Wow. So we don't know about the tomato soup.
No, not specifically. Not where you come back to food. Food reference. That's where I had it, but I don't. It didn't give me the bigger number.
All right.
So it's a little answer, but
well, that's an interesting answer. That's what we asked for. On the 16th in 1868, William Davis, a Detroit, Michigan fish dealer, received a patent for a refrigerator car, an ice box on wheels. He also designed the first refrigerated railway car. On the 16th,
I mean, it's possible to move stuff from one side of the country to the other and still keep it fresh.
Yes. And I wonder how they were able to, because they weren't, I don't think at that time in 1868 they weren't making ice, were they?
Don't know. We'll ask the question as we move on.
All right. In 1894, Charles H. Phillips Chemical Company registered, and here Phillips, I think of two things. I think of light bulbs and milk of magnesia. So the milk of magnesia trademark was filed on the 16th in 1894. People, crappy stuff always since 1994. In 1920, on the 16th, Prohibition began in the U.S., which banned the sale of alcoholic beverages. Gangsters flourished, of course, importing and producing bootleg alcohol. And Americans ended up drinking more than ever. So Prohibition was finally repealed in 1933. It was called the end of the noble experiment. I think it was just absolutely asinine to begin with. And on the 16th in 1945, Carl and Margaret Karcher opened Carl's Drive-In Barbecue Restaurant in Anaheim, California. The first Carl's Jr. restaurant opened in 1956, which is now the same company that owns Hardee's.
Okay.
That's why they have the same. They have the same logo. They have the same menu, basically. On the West Coast, Carl's Jr. has green burrito. On the East Coast here, or this side of the Mississippi, Hardee's has red burrito. So why they can't just make it all one thing, I don't know.
There's got to be some reason behind it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make sense. Like, if you're just going to do it, then just do it.
Yeah. But, and because even the commercials are now at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some of them, not all of them. On the 16th in 2000, a truck carrying evaporated milk is driven into the state capitol building in Sacramento, California, killing at least a driver. The milk didn't get hurt. It was already evaporated. The 17th is National Hot Buttered Rum Day.
Yum.
I don't know that I've ever had hot buttered rum.
It's good.
What is hot buttered rum? A mixed drink containing rum, butter, hot water, or cider, a sweetener, and various spices. It is especially popular in the fall and winter and is traditionally associated with the holiday season. In the United States, the drink has a venerable history which dates back to colonial days.
See?
Yeah, it's actually
Good stuff.
hot buttered rum. Okay.
I didn't know what went into it. I just knew that it tasted good.
Yeah. I had never had it. I've heard of it, but I've never had it.
It's been a while.
1893 on the 17th, Hawaii's monarchy was overthrown when businessmen and sugar planters forced the Queen Liliuokalani to abdicate.
Yeah, you said it.
Liliuokalani. Liliuokalani to abdicate. Abdicate. I can't even say that either.
We're just going to call her Lily.
Yeah. Queen Lily was told to go away. In 1922, Betty Marion White was born on the 17th, so she will be 98 years old this week.
Wow.
Yeah. In 1929, she's older than Popeye the Spinach-Loving Sailor, who appeared in the comic book strip Thimble Theater.
Not many people can say, I remember when Popeye came out.
Yes. She was all of 7, but still.
Yep.
And in 2001, Norway lifted a ban on exports of whale meat. So I don't know.
I guess you could go whaling again.
Yeah, I guess. Or at least
I've never gone whaling.
You can at least I haven't either. Dickie Mo. Or you could at least you could order it since they lifted a ban on exports.
Right.
On the 18th, it's National Peking Duck Day. I don't know that I've ever had Peking duck either.
I don't know that I have either. But it always sounded good, but it was like the most expensive thing on the menu. Mm-hmm. And I'm not the guy who says, "Oh, let's get that," because it is the most expensive.
Yeah, me either.
I'm usually going, all right, so that's the dish I'm going to avoid. Where's the cheap ones?
And they call it Peking duck, but it's actually from Beijing.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Well, there's a controversy here. We've got to solve this.
It's characterized by its thin, crisp skin with authentic versions of the dish, serving mostly the skin and little meat sliced in front of diners by the cook. Yeah. It says thin, but the pictures do not look like the skin is thin. Oh well. Where am I? Okay. The 18th and 1778, Captain Cook discovered the Hawaiian Islands. He named them the Sandwich Islands after Lord Sandwich, who then was the first Lord of the Admiralty. But he discovered them, just like Columbus discovered America.
Yeah. You stumbled into what somebody else already had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The mindset that says, well, I'm superior, so it's mine now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm white and I get to say this. And we're
Yeah.
just gonna capture this island for Britain. You can't claim this. We live here. Do you have a flag? No. So 10 years later, the first English settlers arrive at Botany Bay on Australia's southeastern coast, which is where Sydney, New South Wales is, to establish a penal colony. So,
Yep. I remember that was what Australia was originally
yeah,
being used for.
Yeah, it was a
Punishment.
Yeah. So the Aborigines are, again, like, what the hell? We already here. But,
Yeah. You want to talk about really not wanting the immigrants because they're nothing but the
Criminals.
criminals. In this case, it actually was true.
Yeah. We suck. And
You know? Truth.
Yeah, true that. In 1907, on the 18th, John James McLaughlin of Ontario, Canada, is awarded a trademark for Canada Dry Ginger Ale, the champagne of ginger ales, which I am a fan of.
ginger ale.
I am a fan of that too. And on the 18th
I
and
prefer
19th,
Seagram's, though.
or Blenheim's, is that how you say that?
Oh, the hot one.
Yeah.
Ooh, no, thank you. You can have it.
That's true ginger ale. This
Yeah,
is just like
but-
ginger
oh my God.
flavoring. Yeah. In 1909, Quebec prohibits the sale of alcoholic candy being sold from some 30 stores in Montreal.
Dang it.
There's those gummy worms that people soak in vodka and rum.
Yeah.
In 1943, on the 18th, pre-sliced bread, which was the greatest thing since then, was banned in the United States for the duration of World War II to conserve metal from spare parts that might be needed. We were really slumming it back then, weren't we?
I'm telling you. And we accepted that as a country.
Yeah. There's funny things we'll let the government get away with these days. Or those days. These days. On the 19th, it's National Popcorn Day. Oh, yeah. My wife cannot do that, we learned. Because we watched Seinfeld and that sound effect is happening and she looks like a fish. She's just, yeah. I said, how about this one? Can you... She goes, no, I can't do that either. So, it's also Tin Can Day. Why is it Tin Can Day? Because in 1825, Ezra Daggett and Thomas Kensett of New York City were granted the first patent for food storage in tin cans. They had been canning seafood since developing the process in 1819.
So they wanted their own day to promote their business.
Well, I don't know that it was always that day. I think it just because it was the anniversary of it. And not tin so much as aluminum now, but, most non-perishable food that we get is in cans. I
get a lot of it,
I
for
don't
sure.
eat a lot from cans, but it did revolutionize the food industry. On the 19th, in 1883, Roselle, New Jersey became the first town in the world to be lit up with Edison's incandescent light bulbs. The overhead wires powered 150 street lights, the railway station, and about 40 houses.
Wow.
I was once in a school play if you can call it that. It was more like a school musical that they just picked people to be in. And it was called like How the West Was Won or something like that. Go West, Young Man. Or I don't know. But I played Edison, and we had these huge, like the ones that they lit up the gyms with at the time, those huge, the light bulbs that seemed, it's probably because I was smaller, but they seemed like they were about, 9 inches in diameter.
Right.
And the big base that was probably 2 or 3 inches. Yeah, but I had a lab coat and one of those, and I remember whatever, with the invention of this, my new Edison's sunshine bulb, and I walked off the stage. So,
yay!
I don't know.
I remember 1989 was early May, when we had the tornadoes that ripped through.
That was
Winston.
the 5th. That was the 5th of May.
May 5th. I remember that day. I remember specifically that when all the power went out, there was no street lights. You could not see your hand in front of your face.
Right.
Outside. You couldn't see anything. Of course, the stars were amazingly bright at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But just to think that, how far back was that? 150 years ago?
Yeah, it was 1883. So that would have been 137 years.
To think that we didn't have things as lit up.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we had, torches that were out, and we had kerosene.
You had gaslight,
Gas lights.
But electric bulbs.
Yeah. We had electric bulbs. A Mohasu.
In 1915, on the 19th, George Claude of Paris was issued a patent for a neon bulb advertising sign. In 1944, the U.S. government relinquished control of the nation's railroads after settling a wage dispute. They took control, I think, all right, settle down. Pay these people. Get over it. You can have your railroads back now, I think. In 1973, on the 19th, a UK ocean-going super tug is sent to protect British trawlers from Icelandic patrol boats as a dispute over cod fishing rights intensified. You leave him alone. Leave them alone. They're gonna do some stuff with the codfish. Leave them alone. But we want our codfish. No, we have the codfish. In 1977, on the 19th...
This online drama brought to you by the TLD Network.
1977, snow is reported in West Palm Beach, Florida for the first time.
Yep.
Were you there?
No, I was not. But it gives us hope that maybe a snowball will actually be able to survive in hell.
In 1996, a barge ran aground near Block Island National Wildlife Refuge in Rhode Island, spilling 1.8 million gallons of oil and creating a 12-mile oil slick. So it doesn't
Those stories
say,
always just break my heart.
Yeah, it doesn't say which oil company it was. It just says that it happened. Anyway, that's your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ziegler at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes. Tell us what hot buttered rum, or at least get us to look for that. Also, to find out the output of Campbell's products and other meaningless stuff that we just like to talk about. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Les Desirables Podcast Network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Les Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Apartment 5B, and Beeswax Final, and more. And Sipping and See the Art Drinking coming soon. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on their network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You'll find social media links to each one right there as well. Again, it's tldpodnetwork.com. Greatly appreciate if you visited our sponsors like Carrabba's Italian Grill, located 587 South Stratford Road. Let Daniel demonstrate what a responsible large-scale family of restaurants looks like. Carrabba's takes the community it serves very seriously, and having a fantastic franchisee like Daniel certainly does not suck. Follow Carrabba's on social media and on Carrabba's.com, and don't forget the wine dinner on the 14th and 21st, Carrabba's.com/wine dinner. The Humblebee shop is located at 1003 Brookstown Avenue in the west end of downtown. You need to go to Instagram right now and look up the Humblebee shop. Brittany is whipping up the batter on some delicious desserts, cakes, and muffins, be it regular, vegan, or gluten-free. Humblebee shop wants to challenge your perception of Scratch Made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook and Instagram, or visit thehumblebeshop.co.
That's SHOPPE.co.
Washington Perk and Provision Company is located at 301 West 4th Street. You'll find a little bit of everything to perk: local fruits and veggies, meats and dairy from local sources, Papa Doc's Bionic Tonic, Bingo Bango sodas made right here in Winston, Wolfie's Custard, and more. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they are Washington Perk, or at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. Well, keep an eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about food news and happening around town. If you have food news, send us an email if you do that to tim@themanwhoatethetown.com, or on the Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter Instant Messengers. Like us on Facebook. We are the Man Who Ate the Town food blog and podcast. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 the Town. On Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. My name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we're closing the recipe box. Again, sounds exactly the same as it did when it opened. Until next time, thank you for eating. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit.
Yamas.
The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.